Hello again, everyone. Welcome back to an episode of Horror House. It's been a while. I feel like it's been a while anyway. There should have been an episode last week. I do apologise for that. But we're coming at you this week with a brand new episode of the main show talking zombies and all about zombie films, everything to do with those undead creatures, men, women, whatever you want. And joining me is head of TUFF Channel, host of Fan Friction. You know him, you love him from all manner of Screen Junkies, Twitterverse things, Jack Shipley.
Hey, good morning, everybody, or afternoon, or evening, depending on when you're listening. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it, Morgan.
You're very welcome. I'm very excited to talk to you about zombies, but as we do with every new guest that comes on this show, Jack, what is your favourite horror film of all time?
Well, there's lots of different categories of horror.
There are.
But I think I'll give you the one that scared me the most, that stuck with me as a horror film the most. I hope you think think of it as a horror film. But Candyman.
Yeah, of course.
Scared the bejesus out of me when I saw it. I mean, there's just something about that movie. The music is amazing. It sets an atmosphere. Everything fits and works perfectly. It's perfect urban legend. I really love that movie. I don't know why. It's one of my favorite of all time horror movies. That one actually gets me, so that's why I don't like it.
Yeah, it is creepy. It is very, very, very.
And I have yet to this day said into a mirror Candyman's name 5 times.
Really?
Just in case.
Really? Oh, I've done that. I admit to having done that.
No, thank you. That's creepy. We don't need to do that.
Yeah, though, Candyman. Well, that's a first. That's nobody's ever said that one before. So
I don't watch a lot of modern horror like that anymore. So I think that's why, I'm a little older, so I have to go back to the well to find one that really scares me, because I don't really expose myself to a lot of scary movies anymore.
Yeah.
So that was the last one that really just had an impact.
Great. A very good choice, if I might add. No one's come up with one that I think was bad yet, which is always good.
I didn't want to be the first.
No, of course. Candyman's excellent. Tony Todd, the bees, everything. The big
and
thing.
There's not a movie I've seen him in since where I have been like, oh, it's Candyman.
Yeah, he is Candyman. He is Candyman. Okay. We're talking zombies today. Jack,
yes, we are. I love zombies.
You picked this topic. Why did you pick this topic?
I have been fascinated with the zombie genre since I was a kid. To me, there's something truly horrifying about the idea of an infection or a disease or just something that gets in your body that makes you not you anymore.
Yeah.
And I think there's something truly terrifying about the idea of seeing someone you know and love and looking at them in the eyes and not seeing them anymore in there. You see their body, it's someone you recognize.
Yeah.
But they're not there. And they're trying to kill you.
They are. More often than not, they are trying to kill you. So is it more Living Dead zombies that you're into, or is it like you said, the whole sort of infection 28 days later style?
I prefer the original classic Night of the Living Dead style zombie. I don't have a problem with the rage zombies, fast zombies. I think that's an interesting take on it. I mean, if you're going to modify the zombies themselves, that's a good way to go.
Yeah.
Is increasing their speed. When they made the I think it was it Dawn of the Dead remake, the one with the mall.
Yeah.
When they made that remake, I'm not a fan of that movie per se, but there's a scene I love, and that's after the zombie outbreak has just happened, and the main character, her boyfriend or husband, tried to kill her, and she runs out of her house, and she gets in her car, and He's smacking on the window or whatever, and she starts driving down the road to escape.
Mm-hmm.
And they're driving through a neighborhood, and all sorts of zombie mayhem are happening left and right. And the one that really got me was there was a zombie like chasing someone, or chasing her. I think it was the guy, actually, like her husband or whatever, is chasing her in the back of the car. So you see him running into the car, and then there's just some poor schmuck on the side who just happens to be there, and he just veers off and tackles them and starts eating at them. And I was like, that is horrifying to me. That's what I love about the speed zombie. It's just that aspect of like randomness, and it's not about who you are. And he's not chasing her because he knows her. He's chasing her because she's food, and there's easier food.
Yeah.
So
completely.
I like fast zombies, but I prefer classic.
Yeah, well, so do I. But while we're on the topic of zombie chases like that, I would be a fool to not mention the opening of 28 Weeks Later.
Excuse me.
28 Weeks Later's opening with Robert Carlyle in that sort of... because it's obviously the sequel to 28 Days Later.
Right.
I think they're in some sort of barn house, and it gets broken into by the rage zombies, and the music in the 28 Days Weeks series is great anyway. That music kicks in. It's so fast paced, so well edited and shot, and Robert Carlyle's sprinting, watching his he ends up leaving his wife there to save himself,
right,
which is just it's a phenomenal way to open a zombie film. It really, especially like a modern zombie film that is so different to the older style. When I first watched that,
that's really the thing too, isn't it? It's especially if you have a family.
Oh yeah, it's all about family.
I have 2 kids, and people are like, how long would you last in a zombie apocalypse? And I said, well, ask me that question 8 years ago before I had children.
Yeah.
And that number would be pretty good, but not anymore. Because I have to figure out how to keep my family alive. And I'm dead, because I'm not going to leave a child behind. So if she's going to get killed, then I'm going to get killed trying to save her.
Nah, you're a better man than Robert Carlyle.
I definitely am.
Yeah, I mean, that's interesting as well, because that's just an example of how these type of films can mean such different things to different people. Because obviously you with children, you would think about your children first before everything else, and that's the whole family aspect of the zombie film, or the more modern zombie film definitely has more of a family aspect than the Living Dead films, or even before that with the sort of voodoo films.
I think that's a scenario that everyone asks themselves about when they watch a zombie anything. Yeah. They go like, how would I survive in that situation? Yeah. Which, if I may segue then into The Walking Dead for a moment.
Okay.
So The Walking Dead has modernized zombies and kind of brought them into the forefront, and has, in a way, oversaturated us with zombies. But
I definitely feel like it has.
But if you're familiar with The Walking Dead, there's a great example of people putting themselves in the position of the main characters, and that's, I believe, in season 2. The character Shane is still alive. He's a protagonist and antagonist at the same time. Mm-hmm. And there's a scene where Carl gets shot by a hunter by accident. And in order to save him, the guy who shot him, this hunter, and Shane go to a nearby school because they need to get some medical equipment that the school, hospital, nurse, whatever station would have. And on the way out, they are pretty much surrounded by zombies. They're trying to figure out how to survive. And Shane shoots the hunter in the leg. So, and he's a big, heavy-set man, so he was already not running fast, but now he's pretty much food. And he does this so he can get away. Yeah. And I know in my circle of friends, this was a big sticking point for many people, because a lot of people were like, oh, I would never do that, or, I can't understand that at all. And then I'm like, well, if it came down to you and someone else, and that someone else just shot a loved one.
Yeah.
could you do it? Were you going to die in that moment? Or were you going to, or were you also going to make that decision? It's tough.
Mm-hmm.
It's a moment where
Yeah.
people kind of criticize Shane as a character, but I never did. I always thought that well, he is surviving because the world is different, and it's a terrible thing morally in a world where there aren't zombies. But in a
Oh,
world
yeah.
with zombies, you have to ask yourself how much moral high ground do you remain on
Well, yeah,
to
I
survive,
guess so.
and then your family to survive. So it's a really great question that
Yeah.
I liked in early Walking Dead, but Walking Dead has really become more of a show about the people,
Yeah.
and zombies are now just sort of a thing that happens in that world.
Yeah, I mean, I can't admit to watching The Walking Dead because I don't do it. I've never watched it. It's not really my thing, if I'm gonna be completely honest with everybody. But
Zombies or that show?
no, The Walking Dead zombies, perfectly fine. We would not be doing this episode otherwise. Zombies, love the things. The Walking Dead, I just never started, and now, you hear enough about it in, Twitter and the, media, entertainment news, and you hear enough about.
Yeah.
I hear enough about The Walking Dead to know that it's not what it was. Now,
And it's not. It's really not.
which
Which is a shame. But
yeah, I
I
guess
think
it
the
is.
problem is you tuned into The Walking Dead originally probably because you were either into the comic,
Mm-hmm.
which is a subset which is a different subset.
Yeah.
And I had not. I was aware that the comic existed, but I had never read the comic before
Right.
the show had started. So I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know who the characters were, and I tuned in because of the zombies.
Yeah.
I said, this is what I want. And the problem with most zombie everything is that the longer you allow the timeline to go, the more that people can handle the zombies,
Yeah.
and then the zombies typically never change. Like, that's the nice thing about a Resident Evil type storyline is that Resident Evil throws other kinds of zombies at you
Yeah.
to always give you something to keep you on your toes.
Yeah.
But the Walking Dead zombies do not change. They are slow moving, shambling zombies, the classic style zombies. And eventually you figure out how they work.
Yeah.
And then they don't become really a threat anymore. And that's one of the big things that The Walking Dead has done for me, that has as a departure, is they've moved so heavily into the relationships between the people that the zombies aren't really the show anymore. And
Yeah.
I love those moments in zombie movies where it just happened and people are like, oh my god, what's going on?
Yeah.
And they're trying to
Yeah.
figure out how to live and survive in that world.
Yeah.
So that's what makes it the most fun for me. That's why, like, 28 Days Later is
Yeah.
still a great movie.
Yeah.
Because he wakes
Excellent
up and doesn't know.
Excellent film. 28 Days Later is very, very. It's the sort of. I will not usually say, I'm a big fan of modern zombies because I'm not. But 28 Days Later and 28 Weeks Later, I don't know what it is about them, but I really gravitate towards them. It might be due to the fact that it's in Britain, which is rare.
True.
For something like that, and you can hear me, you know where I'm from. But so that might be a thing, even.
Well, it's not just that too. Like, I think that movie's acting is so good.
Yeah. Definitely.
That I think you want to know more about those characters. I think Christopher Eccleston in that movie.
Yes. Yeah.
Was so creepy and
Yeah.
amazing. So the character, I mean, at the end of the day, the characters have to be worth watching, or you don't really want to stick around
Yeah, of course.
for all the other stuff.
Of course.
But I mean, I think that's one of the strengths of those movies is that the actors play like what the hell is going on really well.
Yeah. I mean, probably my favourite scene in 28 Days Later is the transformation of Brendan Gleeson's character, who I forget the name of.
Oh, I do too.
It's where they sort of they're traveling, or they've reached sort of up north now. They've gone out of London. They've escaped London.
Right.
And I remember the shot of just one drop of blood falling into his eye.
Oh, that's right.
And he's like, his daughter comes closer to him, and he's just telling her to don't come any closer. And then he's sort of goes
creepy.
twitching and all sorts, and then just rages like all the others. And you've grown to sort of care for Frank. You've grown to care for Frank. You know, by that point. That's a scene that stuck with me. That is one of my favourite scenes in modern zombie films. Definitely.
And it's great when you see, like, when you realize, like, you go back and watch 20 Days Later and you're like, oh my god, that's Mad Eye Moody.
Yeah. It is. It's Mad Eye Moody, which is always fun.
He's a rage zombie in that movie.
Oh, dear. And if we're going that route, Doctor Who is the evil guy.
Yeah. Doctor Who number 9, the revival of the series.
Christopher Eccleston.
He's been in so much. I think Americans have been more exposed to Christopher because he's been in a bit more films that we have seen here at the time. And I think my first experience where I really noticed Brendan Gleeson was Mad Eye Moody. And then I started seeing him in a lot of things. And I realized he's been around for a long time doing films. My wife saw him. My wife is huge into British cinema and television. And she recognized him immediately, and I did not. And now, though, I see him everywhere. He's in everything. He's in that Edge of Tomorrow.
Yeah.
With Tom Cruise. So I mean, he's been in a ton of things.
Oh yeah.
I love
great
going
actor.
back to movies like 28 Days Later and seeing someone, and you're just like, oh my god, I know who that is now.
Yeah. That's always. It's always fun. It's always fun. How about we go back to the very beginning of zombie films? To take it completely. I'm going even further.
Oh, you're going further.
I'm going voodoo. I'm going White Zombie.
Oh, White Zombie.
1932.
Nice.
Love the 30s, as everybody knows. I am. 30s horror is my era. For a 19, 20-year-old, which is what I am. That's a strange thing to say, but 30s horror is my go-to place. And White Zombie, it's so different to what you usually think of zombies are, but that is what, you know, obviously originally zombies were.
Right.
Creations of voodoo black magic.
Yeah, and that's really where many people believe the origins of the whole genre.
Yeah.
Fall in the voodoo mythology.
Yeah, it's worth going back and watching, because, you know, if you're into the way they made horror in the 30s with all the real, you know, ominous atmosphere and just performances from Bela Lugosi, of course, famous for Dracula.
Who is better than Bela back then? I mean, maybe Boris Karloff.
Yeah, I put them on a little par with each other.
Christopher Lee, you know.
Christopher Lee came like
a little after. But...
Yeah, we could get a huge discussion about who's better between these people. But yeah, Lugosi plays sort of like the witch doctor,
right?
Who, and every Lugosi performance is just brilliant, because the guy just knew how to play creepy characters, but really charming ones so well.
Yeah, he had that flair about him that was really great. I'm pretty sure, did Martin Landau and Ed Wood, right, play Bela Lugosi?
Yes.
And I know this is a caricature of Bela Lugosi, but I always loved how they captured Bela's sort of human
Oh
personality
yeah,
side
yeah.
in that movie, because you can see how that translates to his films when you watch any Bela Lugosi movie.
Yeah, definitely. That is one of my, being such a big old horror lover and big lover of Lugosi, Martin Landau's performance, it's up there with my favourites in anything.
Speaking of voodoo zombies,
Speaking of voodoo
you know it's
zombies,
a great voodoo zombie movie?
what?
Weekend at Bernie's 2. So you laugh. I don't know if you've ever seen that movie.
I've never seen Weekend at Bernie's 2, no.
Weekend at Bernie's 2, in order to get him alive again, I'm using quotation fingers.
Yes.
They use voodoo magic to make Bernie move around and dance, and they essentially make him a zombie.
Oh, God.
This tells you how... Yeah, it's terrible, by the way. I'm being sarcastic in every way. But they did use voodoo.
Oh, that is insane.
So, never see that movie. See the first one. Weekend at Bernie's 1 is fun.
Yeah.
Weekend at Bernie's 2, not so much.
No. Pointless sequels that shouldn't be made.
But when it comes to comedy and zombies...
Comedy and zombies can go hand in hand and has gone hand in hand in the past.
And one of my favorite movies in the genre, if without a doubt, Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah.
I think, and the best thing about Shaun of the Dead is that the zombies are total backdrop. They're really not important, other than that they're the setting.
Yeah.
Unlike, The Walking Dead at the beginning, where the zombies are important because everybody's trying to get killed. Really, they're just there for the comedy, and
yeah,
you don't even really notice them as much. They're just fun. Everything they do with a zombie in that movie is fun.
Yeah.
And boy, that's one of my favorite zombie movies.
It's my. Yeah, it counts as one. What's the official tagline? It's a rom-com or something like that. Zombie romantic comedy.
Smash hit romantic comedy with zombies.
Oh, well.
That's what's on our DVD cover.
Right.
Because I have it here. I wanted to have it near me when I talked about it. I love this movie so much. I don't know why. It's just it's filled with style and class, and the comedy is great.
It's a great movie. It is a great movie. It's my favourite Edgar Wright film.
I think it's mine too. I like the other ones in his Cornetto trilogy, but this is always my favorite.
Yeah, it's mine.
As well. And this is the movie when people say, "Oh, I hate zombies. Oh, they're creepy and scary." I say, "Well, you know what? You need to see Shaun of the Dead."
Yeah, because they're fun in that.
It's not really a gory movie,
No, not really.
Which I think turns some people off.
I mean, there is.
I don't need this. What's terrifying about zombies is not that they're biting me and clawing my flesh off. Mm-hmm. It's for me. It's always been the humanity element. This is a person I know. So that's what I love about Shaun, is that they're like, the zombies are here, but we're not going to be gratuitous. Per se.
Yes. I mean, you can't. Some zombie films do have a tendency to just sort of completely forget that there should actually be a story, and
they go the slasher route.
Yeah, which, to be honest, sometimes it's worked for me. Sometimes when there's been sort of it's basically a zombie slasher. I'm thinking of Dead Snow and Dead Snow 2.
Yeah.
Which are Norwegian zombie films. Norwegian Nazi zombies is what they are.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
Yeah, it's really fun. It's really fun. It's in Norway. It is a Norwegian film. But Dead Snow 2 has my favourite title of any film ever, which is Dead Snow 2 Red versus Dead. Which I just love for some reason. But yeah, that it's more of a zombie slasher. It's not. There's not a lot of story in there, but that's a fun one. Well, both of them are.
Yeah, sometimes you just want to see, zombies killing people and zombies being shot in the head a lot.
Sometimes you do.
And then everything else is, secondary.
Yeah.
But if you really want a good movie, you gotta have characters in the story, which I think is the problem problem with like the Resident Evil franchise.
Yes.
The first one was at its best when it was a zombie story where people were isolated in a contained area,
Mm-hmm.
And escape was the idea. How do we get from point A to point B? And again, this is the other thing that comes with longevity, whereas the longer your timeline, the worse zombie stories tend to get. Whereas The Walking Dead, gives you microcosms of, okay, here's a zombie situation. The characters are in a prison.
Mm-hmm.
There's zombies attacking the prison now, and they have to leave. But it's the fact that once they get out, now you have to do that all over again, and it kind of gets exhausting. It's like once your characters have to get smarter eventually.
Yeah.
And Resident Evil, though, took that in a completely different way. I think if anything, the intellectual property of Resident Evil became its own crutch. Because they were trying to throw in things like, oh, here's Jill Valentine because she's in a video game, so we're going to make sure she's in this next movie. And I think where Resident Evil excelled at the beginning was when we didn't know anyone. We knew only that this was going to be a zombie movie somehow, and there was an umbrella corporation, and they were bad, and somehow had something to do with it. But let's see what happens, and that's why that movie is okay. Whereas the other movies, I mean, are such a departure from anything. Zombie-esque at all. Okay, I guess there's a zombie in it, but I wouldn't call them good zombie films.
Yeah. Well, did you see Resident Evil: The Final Chapter?
The newest one that came out, I have not, because the last one, the one before this, was so horrible. My wife and I like got it on Redbox or something. We're like, let's watch. We've watched them all at this point. Let's watch this one.
Yeah. It
was so bad. We stopped watching it. Went back to Redbox and went and got something else. Like, it was that bad. We're just this is shit.
Right. Well, I mean, at least Resident Evil films seem to have told themselves that they're ending.
Yeah, but you know what? Like, Final Fantasy video games have been Final Fantasy since Final Fantasy 1, and we're on 15 now. So,
the word final doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, final in, Final Destination. Well, they've gone
Final Destination, 17.
So, finality in film
doesn't often exist.
Yeah, it isn't really a thing.
No.
So.
Well, you mentioned what you really should have in a zombie film is a good story.
Absolutely.
With that, I also think a nice bit of social commentary doesn't go amiss.
Yeah, it depends on how it's done.
It's why George Romero is the king of the zombie film.
Oh, for sure. The consumerism.
Consumerism in Dawn of the Dead. Race in Night of the Living Dead. The man told stories and incorporated zombies in them. He didn't make zombie films. They just happened to be there. The Living Dead just happened to be there as a symbol for real life.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, Night of the Living Dead is my all-time favourite zombie film. 1968. Very, 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 very low budget. Wonderfully low budget.
Black and white.
Grainy black and white as well. Yeah. Grainy, dirty black and white. Not clean, sharp black and white.
Yeah, the shadows were really dark and green. Yeah, that's a great movie.
I mean, so people can go and say it's too slow because the zombies are very, very slow. But the reason I love slow zombies is that they don't seem like ever stopping. You could do whatever they want to them and they'll just keep going. It's like Michael Myers. I always think that. Apologies, guys. We had a bit of a sound issue there, I think, but I was just talking about Night of the Living Dead and how some people can say it's slow and boring because of the slow nature of the zombies themselves. But that's why I sort of love the slow zombies. It's because they just seem to just keep going regardless of what you do to them. They don't seem as easy to
it's
kill.
The relentlessness.
Yeah, it's relentlessness that that sort of affects me more when watching these than something like, you know, pace or rage in 28 Days Later. It's relentlessness and the fact that they just keep going. You can do whatever you want, and they just keep going, keep going, keep going. That's why I love Romero style zombies anyway.
Yeah, I think too that relentlessness, when you put that relentlessness with a loved one,
Yes.
It adds that level of, my loved one is going to chase me forever.
Yeah.
Until I shoot them in the head.
Yeah. Which is
So
what Romero did in Night.
And I love the psychological mind f that is that thought. Like, you know, like, oh, you know, maybe if I just there's a great scene in to get back to Walking Dead as a tie-in real quick. There's a great scene in Walking Dead where one of the characters in the very pilot episode, his wife had gotten bitten, and it's just him and his son. And he takes a sniper rifle and he goes to the top of his house and he's looking out and he's waiting for his wife to show up, and he finally sees her like shambling along, and he has the sight on her for the longest time and he can't do it.
Yeah.
And then later on, like a season or two later, we meet him again, and when we do, we find out that eventually they encountered her again and she bit the son.
Right.
So his decision not to kill her then ends up being the reason his son is dead, and that he had to put his son down, and her, I guess, as well. So, like, that to me is the essence of what makes good zombie. It's the personal relationships you have with the undead in that case.
Yeah.
And the decisions that you're forced to make because you know them.
Yeah, I get that. That's that's something that does stick with me about these type of films as well. I mean, I'm thinking of the similar but different. I'm thinking of the daughter in Night of the Living Dead who wakes up from her sort of I don't know what it is. She's been bitten, but she wakes up and ends up stabbing her own mother.
Right.
That's a great scene as well.
There's so many good scenes in that movie.
There's almost too many good scenes in that. The opening scene as well, to Night of the Living Dead. Why do zombie films have such good opening scenes?
Yeah, because I think it's that initial. I think people really take some time to think about that initial scene.
Yeah.
Too, right. Like your first introduction to the zombie is oftentimes the character's first introductions to the zombies.
Yeah.
You know, so how you frame that is key. You know, how you bring us in with typically it's one main character who's discovering the zombiness.
Okay.
I said the empathy that you create for the main character with the audience. Like main character at the beginning of the movie, it typically is seeing the zombies for the first time.
Yeah.
And you want to build that empathy with the audience so that the audience is also going on that journey with the main character. Yeah. And because it's so key to a zombie genre story, I think they spend a lot of time making sure that element is perfect.
Oh yeah. I mean,
the good ones.
Yeah, definitely. That's another thing that I find so interesting about Night of the Living Dead as well, because it sets you up with those supposed two main characters in the very first scene. And one of them gets killed straight away.
And then it's how you deal with that death.
And then And then Barbara basically becomes just silent in shock for the rest of the film.
She goes into heavy shock. Judith O'Day, right?
Yeah. Which opens the door for the actual lead of the film, which is Ben, played by Dwayne Jones, who unconventionally was a black male in the lead of a film in 1968. Which was a big thing to do in itself, a big thing for Romero to do. Sorry about this, guys. I was just saying, about the unconventional nature of uh, Dwayne Jones as the role of Ben
Yeah.
in Night of the Living Dead, being a black male lead in 1968.
And then to kill him at the end.
Yeah, to just
Spoiler
straight up
alert.
brutally just kill him and then leave it there. It's such a wonderful way of showing the real life brutality and the real life racial brutality that was going on in the US in the late 60s.
Yep.
It's why, like I said, put the social commentary into there, have a good story and good zombie moments is what Night of the Living Dead does, and it's what George Romero does, and it's what he does perfectly in
He's so good at it.
in Night as well as Dawn of the Living Dead,
Which takes social commentary in a different direction, but
Yeah.
still nails it.
it's all consumerism. It's all that sort of stuff. Everybody's in a mall. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what it is about Dawn of the Dead. I don't like it as much as Night. I don't know if it's because it's in colour,
Right.
which it might be. That might be the reason.
I like the aspect. See, the thing I like about Dawn of the Dead is I think that when you're thinking about zombie movies and your own survivability in the zombie apocalypse, you're thinking about, like, where am I going to go that I can hold a place to survive?
Yeah.
And taking the social commentary aspect out of it for a moment, just thinking about the mall, you have this huge mall,
Mm-hmm.
and you wide open spaces, but then you also have the small spaces of each individual store.
Yeah.
You think of the supplies that you have.
Yeah.
We have, and they capture this in the remake, I think, really well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Was like the restaurant or whatever. They're just making they're going through the food stores because there's restaurants in malls.
Yeah.
So there's plenty of food, and I love the idea of like, how long can we survive in a place? What do we have to do to defend that place? What kind of barricades do we have to build to make sure that this place can last us a really long time? And as you see in both versions, it's, they last for a while.
Oh, yeah.
But you can only last for so long.
You can.
In-
You can
in
always
one
only
spot.
last for so long.
And I think, too, like, there comes a moment in post-apocalyptic stories, not just zombie stories, where you have to choose to either scavenge for your life
Mhm.
or abandon the old world. And the old world is our modern times, right?
Yeah.
So it's now. And so when I say abandon what is now the old world, I mean, like, our technologies. No one's going to be building batteries. So the
Yeah.
thing that you're relying on right now to survive that uses batteries is a finite resource, because eventually you will stop finding batteries.
Yeah.
And you will and having to go look for batteries will get you killed. So you need candles, because you can make fire without having to go scavenge for matches, right? Like, eventually you could build fire with sticks, So it's like, how far do you regress technology so that you can survive for a longer period of time? And I think it's actually our tie to technology.
Mm-hmm.
And Walking Dead is a fantastic example of a missed opportunity here. Is that, in the current season of Walking Dead, they all have towns. Like, the main characters all live in a town, and we roll off the town, and we have a generator, and it keeps the town going. And we have running water. We can still take showers, and we have beds and electricity.
Mm-hmm.
And see, look at us. We have this great safe town. But I think what would be more interesting there is to tell the story of how, like, those all rely on resources that will break down. And without anyone to fix them, what is your backup plan? And no one has a backup plan on that show. So the empathy, like, you start to lose the empathy over time. You stop thinking, you stop putting yourself in the "how would I survive" shoes.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the characters do remark, it's like, we're getting decadent here. We're forgetting what it's like to live out there.
Yeah.
And in many ways that's true, but you can only and the main the big bad in that show, Negan, wants everybody to scavenge for him. Well, scavenging, unclear about the timeline, but if they've all been out there for 2 years, all the stuff locally is gone.
Yeah.
You've scavenged everything. So again, like the old world, all the old world trappings that we love now will slowly start to disappear because no one's making new anything.
Yeah.
And that's what I like about the zombie world too, is that now you have to weigh your risk. I like watching the risk. We have to go out there to save that guy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, but there's zombies out there. Yeah, but we want to save that guy, but there's zombies out there.
Yeah, it's another really interesting thing to think about, is the sort of almost ethics in, a lot of people might not think too deeply about zombie media and just see it as, and that's fine. I see some zombie films as just, let's have fun with this.
Right.
But, there are certainly ones that will raise these sort of questions and make you think about not just what you would do in that situation, but what would be the right thing to do.
And consider where people get their moral compasses, right? So you have religion as a main force of morality for many. So you base your actions on a faith that you have to figure out first where zombies fall in that faith. You know, like this wasn't in any book I've read. So what do I do now? Like, am I still faithful? And your faithfulness can influence your ethics and how you see the world. And they do actually have two characters in the Walking Dead show have had religious ties, Herschel, and now there's Gabriel, Father Gabriel.
Right.
Both of whom have connections to religion, and seeing how they've evolved their faith. Herschel kind of remained very devout in his belief system, whereas Father Gabriel has almost modified it to encompass a world where survival is also necessary, but that, keeping the fact that his faith is just that this is a test and we are being tested in a new way, but still faithful. And then they don't really do a lot of it yet, but like those who lose faith, and then how their ethics change based on their faith. So like I really like the exploration of those morality questions.
Yeah, it's really interesting to think about.
Excuse me. It's really interesting. What? I'm sorry.
It's really interesting to think about. Sometimes we just don't think about this sort of stuff when it comes to this type of film. But
and this is the feeling, by the way, of speed zombies versus slow zombies, because when you are being chased at speed by your loved one, you don't have a chance to think about the fact that they're your loved one. Yeah. Because your adrenaline is pumping and you're running, right?
Exactly.
And then after that adrenaline's going and your loved one jumps on you and tries to eat your brain, all you can think about is surviving. It kicks in a different instinct. But when you're slow, when your loved one is shambling towards you and you have time to make all of the realizations that this is someone you know and that they're going to try to kill you and there's nothing you can do to stop, you have all the time to make these decisions because your adrenaline, while up, isn't up the way it is when you're running. It's the
time that does it. It is. It really is.
You need the slow burn. That's why Romero's zombies are perfect. And that's why the slow-moving zombies are terrifying versus the fast ones. Because you'll be dead before you have time to really figure out just how terrifying that guy that was running at you is.
Exactly.
He's going to kill you.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I'm a big guy. Like, I'm not getting away from the fast ones. The slow zombies, I haven't shot.
Yeah. If that's your answer there, people, slow zombies are obviously better, regardless of what you think. You can like this. No, fast zombies are cool in their own way, but
they're great for the adrenaline rush of a zombie movie.
Definitely.
They're just not great for the cerebral rush of a zombie movie.
Yeah, if you want more of a story, use the slow guys.
For sure.
But having said that, actually, if I'm permitted to bring up on this show for the 78th time in the past 3 months, the film Train to Busan.
I have have not seen it yet, but I have read a synopsis of it, and I want to.
It has fast zombie. It's a very interesting sort of different style of zombie. They're fast, but they're not like they don't really have. They don't move straight forward.
Okay.
They're all over the place. They're twitching. They're very, very twitchy. So they just sort of like move quickly, but are slower than Rage zombies from 28 Days Later.
Okay.
But there's an example of a fantastic story, and with very heavy family moments, really heavy stuff, and with sort of more fast-paced zombies. Yet the time's still there. I think they got it perfectly. The time is still there to realise, oh God, this is going to happen.
Right.
But
I've heard it's beautifully paced.
it really is. It is really, really well paced. It is excellent. It is one of the best. Like I've said a few times, it is my favourite zombie film of the 21st century.
Wow, that's a big statement.
It is a big statement, but
I gotta see that movie.
It's everybody who has listened to this show even once before will or at least recently, will know my love for Train to Busan, and I will be purchasing it the first day it is released on for home
like
viewing. It's so worth a watch. It really, really is.
Yeah, I'd like to see that for sure.
Okay, as we begin to wrap up this episode, I think how about us recap what is it that makes a good zombie film or a good zombie story? What is it that makes a good zombie story to you, Jack?
So for me, it's always the connection between the characters. The characters, we need to see the relationships, because it's breaking the relationships through zombies that kind of adds to the level of terror in the new environment.
Yeah.
I think it's still possible in a world that is so oversaturated with zombies to tell good zombie stories.
Yeah.
I think we just need to keep trying to tell those, to get the essence of those stories, and it all starts with the relationships.
Yeah.
So for me, it's always going to come down to making me empathetic for the situation the main characters are put in to deal with the zombie apocalypse.
Yeah. Well, for me, I like what zombies have to say about the world, about the real world. That's my sort of love. Aside from that, I'm an effects guy. I love me some lovely practical effects. Tom Savini's work in Dawn of the Dead is phenomenal. It's so
you know what?
good.
Shout out to Greg Nicotero, who does the zombie makeups for Walking Dead.
Yeah,
because
I've seen them. They're great as well.
Zombies.
Yeah.
Amazing.
You need some good effects. Even Night of the Living Dead, for as low budget as it is, I don't know. It's probably helped by the grainy camera quality, but those effects come off. Like, you see close-ups of the zombies eating what is supposedly people's flesh, and it looks pretty good.
Especially for the time.
Especially for low budget 1968 completely independent horror.
You'd be terrified if you were
You
going
would.
to
You really would.
watching that movie. You would.
I'm still get terrified now, but Tom Savini's work in Dawn of the Dead is outstanding. I mean, I know he has said in interviews that the sort of grey bluey skin tone of the Zombies wasn't supposed to come out like that, but it has done, and it's fine.
Yeah.
But it's the is it Dawn of the Dead where one of them gets decapitated by a helicopter?
Oh, I don't remember.
I think something like that.
I'm picturing it in my head though.
Yeah. Just
I
imagine
don't
that, people. A zombie getting decapitated by a... That's Tom Savini. And such good effects work. That's a big part of why... of zombies to me. But yeah,
absolutely.
It's mainly what zombies
The
have to say
less
about...
human they look, the less scary they are.
Yeah.
You have to keep them recognizable.
Yeah, definitely.
Because I'm not as scared of a monster that didn't.
No,
like
monsters tend to be fun to me.
Right.
Yeah.
The same way.
Yeah. Keep them human.
Keep them human. That's the key, right?
Keep zombies human. Yeah. Keep zombies human. And hashtag keep zombies human. Use that, people. Come on. And what else? Brain freeze.
Wait, say that again.
And make zombies mirror real life.
Yes.
Because that's just great as well. Do you know what, Jack? I think that might about wrap us up.
That was fantastic. It's fun talking zombies.
Is there anything you want to plug?
Thank you. Yeah, so I'm the showrunner for Fan Friction on the TUFF Channel, where we do movie debate battles with fans, largely from the Screen Junkies Network. We're changing it up this year. We're going to have sort of a new format that kind of takes us a little bit apart from what we've been doing, which has been a borrowing of the Screen Junkies format. We're going to kind of take it a couple different directions here and give it its own sort of identity. So that happens this season.
Cool.
And hopefully, Morgan, in a month or so here, we're going to have you come back and join us for another fight.
Of course. I love doing it the first time. I won the first time, so this is my chance to go 2-0.
Which would be great.
Surely that's a title shot.
I think it would be if the title was on the line, but I don't think you're facing someone with a title.
Come on.
But I'm pretty sure you're facing me.
Oh.
So you and I are going to have a little battle there, along with a special Screen Junkies guest. So it's going to be pretty fun.
Very, very nice. When does Fan Friction return? What is the date?
February 12th. Sunday, February 12th.
Very close then, guys.
1 p.m. Eastern. We haven't exactly worked out our new time schedule yet, but we're going to try to make it so that it's not so bad for people in other time zones like yours. Like you're 5 hours ahead of me.
Yep, that's true. Jack, I cannot wait for the return of Fan Friction.
Thank you.
And I've very much enjoyed talking about a topic that you clearly love. Which is these zombies. Guys, as always, give this episode a like. Comment what you thought about what we were saying. Subscribe to this channel if you want more stuff. There'll be loads of new episodes of this main show, as well as plenty more to come from HorrorHouse Picture Show in the near future. So do that. Follow the podcast on Twitter at HorrorHousePod. Follow me at the Purple Dawn. Follow Jack at
my Twitter is JRSPipboy2008, and you can follow us at the TUFF Channel, which is at TUFF Channel. TUFF.
Go and do that then. And guys, as always, thank you very much for listening, and until next time, goodbye.